What I want is people to be rational and to trade with each other voluntarily to mutual benefit. And that is what human nature calls for. And unfortunately, the sort of mainstream philosophical tendency through history and to this day has often been to see human activity as somehow outside of nature, right? Like anything human beings do qua human beings in order to live as human beings safely, with longevity, and with personal flourishing, those things, that is like somehow outside of nature.
Christianity is generally, and particularly in 20th century America, very watered down and mild compared to Kant. But Kant is the man who saved religion from science and saved Christian ethics from reason. Now, since saving it means keeping it alive as a zombie to destroy everything that's living and right and real, the word saving is perhaps the wrong thing to use. He staved off the collapse, the total collapse of religion and religious ethics. And he did so on the basis of very tricky, intricate reasoning, ultimately resting on nothing but his feelings.
I don't think people are ashamed anymore in America, not since COVID. COVID sort of changed everything. And I think you're seeing overtly people quitting jobs to go on the dole and openly doing these very same things, wanting their student debt forgiven. They want that free college. I mean, it's a giveaway here too.
Name the irrational system, and I'll show you a contradiction in there between the moral and the practical, between what we need to do and what's the right thing to do. So Ayn Rand, of course, offers a maybe reconcile just is the word. You solve this problem. So the moral is the practical. The moral is the practical. And what is practical? What's in the long-term good for your life as a human being. So you want to live as long as you can, but you want to live as a human being. You want to live and flourish. You want to, gain self-esteem. You want to have spiritual values like art and relationships. And that is the moral way to live. That is, I think, how Peikoff put it. Like that is like morality is like the instruction manual that should have come with man but didn't. And that is the role of philosophy. That is what a good philosophy offers. But we're not anarchists, of course. So we're not.
Certainly not. And so I thought so being a DA is like I say, it's one of the, like police, courts, DA, the army. Those are some of the valid functions that even we objectivists think should happen. And not that just valid, but vital and important functions. I saw myself as a DA as making possible other people's peaceful activities. I was creating an environment, a non-coercive environment where people could voluntarily interact with some peace and security from violence and force, creating the context in which people could do business, lead their private lives in peace and security and freedom.
You can't help but break that and act on your self-interest. You can't help but be selfish. Everybody is selfish on the level of the phenomenal self, but you got to make your noumenal self do it from duty. Well, how can you do that? You can't, but the best shot at trying is hurt yourself, suffer, lose, die, torture yourself, and then there's some chance that the dear self, the phenomenal self, has been overpowered by the noumenal self, the sense of duty. So as Ayn Rand describes it, it's a ethics of self-torture. She wrote in Atlas Shrugged about the ethics of death, which altruism is, the morality of death. Death is the goal that altruism sends you towards because it's a sacrifice of values, and total sacrifice is death.
They can always turn to a scapegoat and say, we didn't do it enough. There's this individualist or this selfish interest blocking us from being able to purely practice our utopian government. And they've been finding these excuses for over 100 years, and it's not changing because there's just not the philosophical momentum for individualism out there yet. There's small pockets of us, but it's not enough to turn the cultural tide at the moment. So they'll make the same excuses they've always made, and it's going to resonate with those people, those statists, in the same way until we change the moral nature of the argument.
Ayn Rand saved my life. She saved my world. That's the way we should look at it. It really is. Now, do we have a greater challenge ahead of us to change all the bad man-made things in this world? Yeah, we do. A daunting task lay ahead of us. On the other hand, Ayn Rand has already, in effect, saved my life from the inside, psychologically and morally, in terms of the confidence that I have in knowing and acting in this world has been tremendously aided by Ayn Rand. And in sharing how Ayn Rand saved my world, again, as a byproduct, helping to save the world in general, to the extent that I can, even if it's just a limited extent. But I'm doing it for my own selfish reasons. Thank you very much.